Do we expect to see more chief data officers or analytical officers? And really looking at how do leaders start to use data more effectively, even if they don't have that chief data officer title. It's a part of leadership at this point. So can you share your thoughts on kind of the tie between culture and data?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one to talk about the chief data officer and chief analytics officer. I think those are roles that we're seeing more of now. But from a cultural perspective, even at being part of a CPA firm, we're seeing a lot happening around the role of the CFO and how they're being driven to not just be the good stewards of the firm's and organization's assets and its financial statements, but also to be that strategic decision maker when it comes to analytics. So I think when I think about culture and what has to happen in the culture of an organization, one, from the top down, you have to be really goal oriented and goal driven. There's a lot of times we'll measure things from a performance perspective, but if we aren't actually driving towards kind of improvement via goals, that has to be the first. Second piece of culture is heavily around transparency. And I think that is something that I've at least seen change in my career, where early in my career, people who had information also had the power of having that information. But newer generations that have come through tend to not see it that way and tend to be more open to what's the transparency, be open and honest about what's happening, and then we'll make decisions based on it. So I think transparency is a big deal. And then the last one, Kieran talked a little bit about taking data and the time and effort to really model and mold a data set and create value from it. Is I think culturally we're starting to see organizations look at data as an asset. And one of the other big things that's starting to happen is this notion of, one, creating that asset, but two, sharing that asset, maybe from a monetization perspective or for general good. But all of those are kind of areas that I see around culture, really driving from goals, looking at transparency, and then starting to view data as an asset are kind of big pieces of that culture.